Vicki, welcome. Vicki, you are the head of digital CRM, product, and marketing. Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means at Studio UK?
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay? And please enter the competition. We've just done the raffle. Enter the competition for Studio. So my role involves a multitude of things. I'm very lucky. I enjoy all of them, and I can be a bit of a magpie, so that's great. So I look after web platform, also app development, also Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I also look after digital marketing for Studio and their CRM program. So CRM includes print, email, and push.
So you have this really nice benefit, which I'm sure comes with lots of work, but you get to see the entire life cycle of really the mobile experiences that you're creating, both from the technical standpoint, well, the marketing initiative or objective, the technical implementation of it, and of course you're managing much of the data that is driving it. It's a envious position to be in because oftentimes there's a requirement for all of those pieces to work together, so you get to coordinate them directly. Maybe tell us a little bit about how you have brought that coordination of activities to bear on some of the initiatives that you've put in place here at Studio.
Sure. So I am fortunate in that I've noticed the sort of a little bit of a challenge that everybody has getting through their IT teams to get things done. The advantage I have is that I can connect the sort of digital marketing angle, you know, if the guys need floodlight tags or a bit of support with SEO, all the way through to our CRM. So if we want to do an upgrade to, you know, Airship or any other partners that we work with, I managed to kind of help with the prioritization of those things, so I can nudge them through a little bit because I'm responsible for the development and the continuous improvement of all those apps. So it is a really fortunate position to be in. It's great when you're doing roadmaps and you're able to see the connection between everything and you can pull it all together. So yeah, it's quite satisfying to be able to release things as quickly as you would like, and also have that ability to challenge the IT teams to do things a little bit quicker than they ordinarily would.
As we were preparing for our time together today, we really just started bantering back and forth about mobile and mobile apps and the experiences you're trying to create. And we were talking a little bit about some of the experiences that folks within our customer base are having, and sometimes challenges and the opportunities that they're trying to take advantage of. We started talking about the mobile app lifecycle that we've shown a couple of times here today. Sure. And you kind of lit up and said, well, that framework actually aligns very closely with the things that we do kind of every day at Studio. Maybe did you want to talk about how you think about the mobile app lifecycle and whether it is kind of a conscious element of the way you think about your planning process?
Yeah, sure. So I'll pop this screen on, but we're very conscious that the whole start-to-finish journey is really important. Now, the beauty of Studio, but also some of the challenge we have, and it's interesting listening to Nick about regulation, etc., because Studio is a value retailer, but we also offer credit to our customers. So we have a legacy. We've been around for about 60 years, so we have a legacy of customers that traditionally came from a print catalogue background. So the advantage we have with those guys is that we've recently moved into paperless bank statements for them. So we've almost inadvertently created a better reason for them to use the app and download the app. So we've got some existing customers that we transition to the app, which works really well. They can go on, they can manage their statements and their billing, etc. But then we also have the challenge of getting our new customers onto the app. And so it's really important that their app store experience is strong, that they can go on there and feel reassured, feel trusted that you know, Studio is an app that they want to download. We are starting to notice, interestingly, that a lot of new customers are downloading the app and then applying for credit, which is quite a big ask of people to do two very important things, you know, trusted, by downloading the app and then also trusting us to apply for credit with us. So yeah, that's a lot to do in one journey. So we're trying to get under the bonnet of that and understand why people are doing that. But definitely the framework sort of helps support what we're doing, and we can see that journey through the app from activation all the way through to loyalty.
It's interesting you mentioned that, right? Because all of us here in the room are struggling with, in many ways, the activation journey, that moment of truth. You're trying to create the value proposition and make it clear to them, and yet you've got, in many ways, two prongs of that. One is indoctrinating them or helping them understand the benefits of the app. The other is this very personal journey around personal finance and credit. Yep. So I know you and the team have spent a lot of time looking at that, and your activation journeys are actually a reflection of some of the work that you've been doing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we have all the sort of classic journeys around abandoned baskets, etc., those sorts of things, which work incredibly well for us. We also have journeys that support the financial services piece around applying for credit. So we'll offer incentives for people to download the app. We'll also offer incentives to sign up to credit. Obviously, all FCA regulated, etc. But I feel like Nick's going to check on me at some point that we're actually doing things properly. We absolutely are. So, and we also, to that point, have to be quite careful sometimes how we communicate with customers, because we don't want to be asking customers that aren't in a position to increase their credit to do so. So we have lots of segmentation, lots of exclusions in our files so that we're not communicating to people incorrectly.
Nick and I were talking off stage just a few minutes ago about what sounds like one of his biggest challenges, and it clearly is, and he described it really effectively when he was here a few minutes ago. This requirement around regulation is in many ways, and you, I think, share a little bit as well, is in many ways a benefit as well on the marketing side. So having a requirement to be able to tie people's information together so you are managing them from a regulatory standpoint properly requires a certain amount of information, and it requires you to have identification and connect the information you have on them in your systems. That is one of the things that I think a lot of folks in the audience are struggling with from a marketing standpoint, but that's something that's really kind of a core tenet to the way you collect information, and it gives you a foundational view of that customer. Yeah,
absolutely. We have a lot of systems, we have a lot of data, so we work closely with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We also have a hookup with Airship, so we have something we call named users so that we can send out personalized communications. But yeah, we've got legacy databases that have our print customers in there, obviously email and push as well, so we have to tie all of that together and make sure we're communicating in the right way.
I know when we were preparing for our chat here today, one of the things that you had been telling me about was, in fact, your activation process and how you had been going about the process of trying to indoctrinate folks to the app in a little bit more meaningful way. Can you maybe talk about how you've evolved some of those practices over the recent months?
Yeah, so we're continually improving our My Account space. So that's the space where you can go in, check your balance and make your payments, also look at delivery, etc. We've got some really nice functionality around called Swipe to Like. So for those of you familiar with Tinder, don't want to make any assumptions. It's a left or right swipe, and if you like the products we present to you, they automatically drop into your wish list, which creates a really nice reason for us to communicate with people about what's in their wish list and if they would like to buy it. We also know that the conversion rate around those types of areas is really strong. So Swipe to Like's really popular. We've done live streaming in the past. I think we were an app first for live streaming this time last year. It's quite time-consuming, sort of getting the people, to actually stand there, the buyers that we use to do it. So we've not done it as often as we'd like, but we know that worked really well as well. So that's something we want to take forward and do more of. So we've got lots of nice features that we're looking at improving all the time and enhancing other areas. So it's interesting to listen to people talking about gamification, because that's absolutely something that we'd be looking to do at some point in the future, potentially.
Yeah, well, you have the informational foundation for that given the way you're bringing information together in the named user environment. I also know that you're leveraging some of the in-app experience elements of Message Center and so on to try to remind people when they're in the app and create these mobile app experiences.
Yeah, Message Center is relatively new to us. So we've only had it live for about a month or so, but the guys have already really engaged with it. They use it in tandem with push messaging. The push and Message Center used together has a really nice halo effect. So it gives us an opportunity to have another space to talk to customers. Also can be quite visually engaging as well. So Message Centers work really well. I'd definitely recommend it if anybody's thinking of using it. It's really simple to implement, and it's really simple to use and really straightforward for customers to be able to delete the messages, or we can delete them on their behalf if they're out of date, for instance, offers, etc. So really valuable piece of real estate.
Well, and I know you just used the example of the swipe for wish list, just implementing very simple and known activities or interaction vehicles into the app that people are already familiar with is a great way to increase the engagement. I know it's had a pretty profound effect on your overall engagement within the platform.
Yeah, engagement levels are really high. We have typically over 50% of our users keep returning back to the app, so we've got a lot of engagement there, so a lot of activity going through the app as well. So we're really pleased with the volume of people that keep returning, albeit we have to accept that they are coming possibly to do a payment journey. Sure. To cover their cost of their credit. However, once they are in that journey, we obviously use the opportunities to communicate with them some more while they're in the app. So if they're servicing their account, there's plenty more opportunities for us to kind of convert that into a purchase journey as well.
I think it was a brilliant innovation and initiative that you and the team had to do away with your paper statements and use the mobile app. And so I'm sure there was some element of that decision that was cost-driven. The reality is you are amplifying the value of the mobile app by bringing an important element of their interaction with the brand into the mobile app. And as we were talking, I was looking at some data and I said, wow, Vicki, what happened 3 months ago? And because the engagement metrics for your app are all through the roof. Not only downloads, which I think were up close to 100% over that time frame, but also, if I remember correctly, your average session length was up like 10 or 15%. The number of sessions were up, all due to a fairly simple change that really created a center of engagement for your users. Yeah, and hopefully that's going to continue because we're still rolling out paperless to our print-based customers. So yeah, we're hoping that more will take up, and then we've got a good run-in for peak with more people on the app. I think we can see, I'll pop so from the stats, I think we can see that we've got an increase in share of traffic, increase in share of sales across the app. AOV is higher. I think everything that everybody's been saying earlier today is playing out through the Studio app, and definitely going paperless has helped giving it a bit of an injection at this crucial time of year. Yeah, and what I think, again, what I thought was brilliant about that strategy, and certainly the timing of it, you had known in advance that your mobile app was providing a higher conversion rate and a higher average order value, and so now just increasing the traffic through a simple change in another business process that happens to have a side benefit of saving some money somewhere else actually amplifies itself by bringing more people into the app where you've got that higher average order value and conversion. It's great when you get an indirect secondary benefit like that. So we're absolutely chuffed to bits that that's working for us. So and we'll take all the credit for that as well. We'll park it with the finance team. They had nothing to do with it. Well, I'm conscious of the fact that as you went about all of these initiatives, they weren't always easy, though, right? I mean, there are elements of bringing these to life in the app that require, what's the old adage? Marketing is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Were there any particular challenges or revelations that you had as you and the team went about implementing these?
Yeah, there are always challenges when you're hooking up data. There's definitely more we can do with my account and getting data in real time. Same with delivery information, etc., tracking orders. So that real-time piece is really crucial to us. We went through, earlier in the year, we went through an upgrade on the web platform. And in doing that, it meant development on the web platform slowed, so we course corrected and did more development through the app at that point. So that, yeah, we're always sort of endeavouring to have parity between the web and the app, but we will, you know, when you can't do as much with one, we'll focus on the other, and so we'll make sure we're always getting releases out the door, optimising the development team as much as possible to make sure that, you know, they're not sitting on their hands and that we're actually delivering some really good stuff. So that works really well, and we're now in a place where we are pretty much getting to web and app parity, but we do want to make sure that the app is the place to go. So we'll always make that experience slicker and try and offer customers, where relevant, more of an experience within the app to get them downloading, get them using it. But on the basics, for instance, product bundling, and more of the retail side, we'll aim to always get web parity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we're heading in, so this is an off-marketing question. I know we're heading into the holiday season. That's I guess your Super Bowl or your playoffs. Tell me a little bit about the product merchandising that you are focusing on within the app. And you mentioned to me the other day that there's one particular product that seems to be rising to the top of everyone's wish list this year.
Yeah. Who's got an air fryer? Actually, let me ask, who hasn't got an air fryer? You'll be getting one, believe me. Yeah, air fryers are high on the list. They are, you know, quite literally selling like hotcakes, and I believe you can cook hotcakes in them. So yeah, we do an awful lot around product merchandising. Again, that's a challenge for a retailer, especially if you've got such a volume of products a studio has. Although I know this, is it Bowler in here, and they've got a huge inventory. But we have about 30,000 products, and maintaining that data feed between web and app is always a tricky one, and how you present that information as well when you're tied to a bit of a legacy with an app and with a website and PIMs, etc. I won't even go there. So merchandising can be tricky, and that's why we've got features like what we call stories that enable us to bring things to life. Swipe to like enables us to bring product to life. So we do use the app in that way to create more of a storytell around our products.
I'm struck by the pace with which your team has advanced an awful lot of initiatives over the last 12 months. Without disclosing anything proprietary or strategic, are there certain categories of things that you are looking for going forward or that are higher on your radar? Yeah,
so we've built up really strong foundations. We've created a really good method of working with our IT team, so we have a route of continuous improvement. So we're now in a good place where we can continually deliver stuff. We've recently changed our marketing agency, so we now work with MediaCom, who've been absolutely fantastic in terms of getting them onboarded, getting under the skin of what we do and don't do. We're looking to work with them. We've integrated Apps Flyer as well. So ultimately where we want to get to is we've got a really great foundation, but what we want to get to is understanding more the channel mix and how that influences our app marketing and how we optimize against that channel mix. That, for me, is probably the current gap that we've got in terms of our insight into how the app is performing. So once we understand that more so, we'll get more into app marketing.
Yeah, and is that with an eye toward orchestrating across those channels or taking the insights from their other channel behavior and using that to personalize the app experience?
It's more about getting under the skin of how those channels influence traffic through to the app and where they help us and help inform us to understand the customer dynamics of, you know, when we're doing recruitment for credit, for instance, which of those channels are the best suited to that versus which are better for sort of driving product sales, and understanding the mix and the blend, so how we use those channels independently of each other.
Okay. Then one last question before I ask if there's any questions from the audience for Vicky. As you've sat here today and heard from some of the other mobile leaders that are struggling with or trying to take advantage of certain circumstances, what are the things that you maybe took away from today that are either things that you were already thinking about, or that perhaps you're like, huh, that's something I should perhaps consider? Anything that jumped out at you?
I felt relieved our regulation isn't nearly as complicated as Nick's, that's for sure. And definitely there was, I really enjoyed Forrester and hearing all of that, you know, in terms of what we see versus what the customer sees. So I think we've always just got to pull ourselves back and remind ourselves it is always about the customer. I think what's reassuring is I think we're all pretty much in the same boat, but we're all seeing the same trajectory. We see the app as a valuable asset and one that we need to continue to develop. So I think that's been really positive for us. But also, my video is nowhere near as good as anybody else's. I won't say that to the guys that produced it, but no, I don't have quite such a sexy video, so I've taken that away, and I'll try and do better next time.